Hi, everybody. A very good morning to everybody who's joining us live or who will be listening to this later. We are back with another episode of Hello Kolkata, Kolkata Calling's very own podcast series. We're back after 1 week. We took a small break. I was away on leave. Leave, as in, I mean, this is sort of a weekend thing, but I was away traveling with my parents, and we might talk about that later. But yeah, so we are back again with a fresh new episode this week, and we have a special guest. As you all know, we bring in guests from different fields to talk to us and share their journeys with us. So we'll get into that. Before I introduce our guest today, wanted to very quickly give uh, a quick recap of how last week went, and it was pretty fantastic for not just Kolkata but also for our page. We had the grand opening of the Kolkata Metro Underwater River Project, which was inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and that event in itself was, I would say, groundbreaking. Uh, Pun not intended. But our post around that event also got fantastic traction and engagement from our community members. For the first time ever, our post on our page crossed 100,000 impressions, as well as 2,000 likes. So thank you for all for supporting our content and showing your love for Kolkata. Uh, a lot of other things happened last week as well. Mahindra Logistics expanded its operation in Kolkata. ITC Infotech's new office is, planning to be launched soon. Um, we also had the grand wedding of the Ambanis and the merchants, and Kolkata's very own the Blue Poppy restaurant and Sienna were among the culinary delights that wowed the guests there. We also got news from Apollo Hospitality, who have started their Apollo Genomics Institute in Kolkata. So that's going to be a game changer in medical healthcare as well. We also wanted to congratulate a great supporter of our page, Gaurav Jalan, the CEO and founder of M-Pocket. M-Pocket recently secured a 500 crore funding from BPA Credit to expand its operations. M-Pocket is our very own Kolkata-based digital lending platform that's doing fantastically well all over India. So big shout out to Gaurav Jalan and his team. A couple of other announcements. Atlassian, a fantastic software company, is doing its first in-person community event in Kolkata. So this is a big step uh, for the visibility of the city in the global tech scene. So please check out our post around that, and please feel free to join that. Couple of new entrants into Kolkata. Aonx Digital, which is a business consulting company, has opened up its office in Kolkata, along with F13 Technologies, again, another IT service and consulting company, which has opened its office in Kolkata. So good news all around. And finally, the last one, Motovolt, which is an e-mobility company, has launched its first e-scooter manufacturing facility in Kolkata again. So all good news all around. We were lucky as Kolkata Calling to have been invited as a business networking partner for TIE's first ever HR summit in Kolkata. We attended that, and we saw such a fantastic event which brought in HR leaders, business leaders from all over India in a session, multiple sessions, and we'll share a more detailed write up about that as well. So all of those things just give us confidence that we are on the right track, and Kolkata's image and perception, even if a little by little, it's still changing. So with that out of the way, please do follow us on LinkedIn. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. The live stream that you're watching probably on LinkedIn is also live on YouTube. So please do subscribe to our channel. And yeah, just let us know your feedback and comments, and we're happy to take those and improve as we go along. So with that out of the way, now it's time for our special guest. Today we have Richa Chaudhary, and we want to thank her for agreeing to be part of this podcast. Richa is the founder, and she calls herself the Chief Chocolate Innovator at Darkins Chocolate. And she founded this company along with Prajnay Garg in 2019. We'll get to know more about Richa and her journey in building Darkins. Darkins is a premium bean to bar dark chocolate company on a journey to create Indian origin artisan chocolates and also promoting healthy food in the process. Richa, before becoming an entrepreneur, worked in different industries across a variety of roles. She worked in the startup Flaberry, she worked at Taj Hotels, she worked with Pfizer. And she's also worked as a lecturer and a research assistant at BITS Mesra and the Ranchi College of Pharmacy, respectively. She's an MBA from Sriram College of Commerce and an alumni of BITS Mesra. We'll get more information around Darkins, but just to give a quick overview of Darkins, as I mentioned, it's an artisanal chocolate brand to create a niche for Indian cocoa and chocolates at the global scene. And they have a very organic process of sourcing, manufacturing, and we'll understand chocolate making process for those with the sweet tooth and want to know more about that, how it goes about. All of their ingredients are sourced locally, encouraging Indian farmers to grow, the raw materials and get, benefited in the process. Darkins also has made waves. It has been featured as one of the must-try top 10 Indian chocolate brands by CNBC TV 18 on the World Chocolate Day for making a mark on the global stage. They have also been featured on one of the top 10 most unusual chocolate flavors by the famous fashion magazine LA.com. So those who follow fashion would know about LA as well. So great pride for an Indian chocolate maker to be featured on LA. So with that introduction, let me add Richa to the stage. Hi, Richa. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on this platform.
My pleasure, Richa. And I think a lot of Calcutta is famous for its love for sweets. And so
Yeah,
thank you for agreeing to be with us. And we'd love to know more about Darkins and you as well. Um, Richa, firstly, I know we are a couple of days late, but a very happy International Women's Day to you. And I know your team is also mostly women. So a very happy International Women's Day to the entire team of Darkins as well.
thank you so much. Thank you.
My,
Thank you so much for this.
my pleasure.
So, yeah, this platform is amazing what you've built. And we take a lot of pride in all the, like everyone who is part of the Darkest journey because it is like a new ship that everybody is sailing on. Like, it's right. Like every member, it's a new journey for them.
Yeah, yeah. So, Richa, I mean, and typically how we do it is, and we keep it conversational and pretty informal. Would
Yeah.
love to understand a little bit about your journey. Your early days. Growing up, education. You've attended some fantastic institutes. How did all of that go about, and then how did you sort of get into the corporate world? And then we'll move into your entrepreneurial journey as well. If you can share something with our viewers as well.
I'm a chocoholic. Like
Okay.
that was the first start. And everybody who knows me, like all my friends, my family, everybody who knows me, who would bring a chocolate along with them. And
Okay.
this started right from my formative years. So of course, it started from my own sister.
Hmm.
She got married, settled in Europe. She would bring in, chocolates, European chocolates, and that was a realization. It was like this is the quality I can't get it in India. At least
Hmm.
that was the formative years. I would wait for her that she would
Yeah.
bring. And since I've grown up in an industrial town of Ranchi.
Yeah.
So most of us we have known engineering families, and our typical engineering families, the kids do get educated and they do settle outside India.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's a trend. That's a trend across 80s and 90s that we saw.
Yeah.
Uh, and they would then bring back chocolates because that is the easiest to bring. And when you also belong to a township, whoever has lived in a township, they know that people around you become family.
Yeah.
So whoever we call uncle and aunt, their kids become our bhaiya, didi.
Yeah.
So we are like literally waiting for them also to bring gifts. And the easiest thing that you can bring back is chocolates. So
True.
that was the first exposure, and it continuously got fueled as I grew up because uh, we saw a lot of brands also coming into India. Like we had Lind, we had Ferrero, we had
Yeah.
uh, Ritter Sport. So that kind of built of importing of chocolates has happened through last 10 years
Hmm.
or more. And as I was graduating my college from after doing my stint in BITS Mesra, and then I did a small stint in Pfizer in sales.
Yeah.
Then doing my like I was trying to judge whether I should go into research or I should go in management.
Hmm.
Uh, and then I went into SRCC because I thought that maybe my skill set lies more in learning about business.
Hmm.
Uh, and when I was studying, that is where the existential crisis kind of hit, that what will I do next? Because
Hmm.
I was sure that I did not want to enter into a pharmaceutical job, though it was
Okay.
an option, but I did not want to get into it. It wasn't really attractive enough for me.
Okay.
I'll tell you the paradox about it like a little bit later on. When I was thinking what I should do, and I would be eating chocolates like crazy. I've tried all the weird combination of chocolates by this time. You know, chocolate momo was like the bare minimum.
Okay.
Chocolate pani puri and stuff. And when I was interviewing with Taj, even then I mentioned that I want to do something with chocolate. I don't know
Hmm.
what I will do, but I want to do something with chocolate. I was so my stint in Taj was pretty interesting. It was with my largest stint was with in Taj Bengal, and
Oh, wow.
the and the chefs was so kind to a newbie who's trying to understand how procurement works, and
Yeah.
they would actually be open to answering any of my questions. I don't know what random questions I've asked them, like what chocolate, why this, why not this brand, what do you
Yeah.
think, what is the difference, what is compound, what is kavacha, why are you interested, like insisting on kavacha? Okay, what difference you find, because ingredients are same. How would you know
Yeah.
what is the quality and what is the difference? So they were like the first crash course in chocolate that I got, like that entire
Hmm.
year. And I really
Cool.
thank all the chefs of Taj who have, given me their bits of whatever knowledge they had. And, that perspective that customer wants this. So
Yeah.
this is what we serve because they want it. It can't be a bias from our end.
Yeah.
So, and I think I carry that, whatever learned in Taj, I still
Yeah.
carry it in Darkins. Like
Yeah.
if the customer wants a good quality chocolate, if the customer wants a good service, we have to give it.
True. And I think, I mean, we are glad that Taj Bengal played a role in your early days.
Yeah,
Richa, I'm curious. So you had a background in pharma because you worked with Pfizer. Your education was there.
yeah.
So chemicals. I mean, not I wouldn't say chemicals, but how the chemistry
You
of
are
making.
spot on. You're spot on there. That
Yeah.
is what even I thought till
Yeah.
Taj happened. And then I
Yeah.
realized that whatever I have learned so far, like
Yeah.
in when you study pharmaceutical, you study, of course, you study chemicals, but you also study the physiology of how the
Yeah.
medicines will be perceived by the person who is consuming it. So
Sure.
even though injections are the way you should take, like injectables are the most safest drug form of to take the drugs and suppositories, but they're not the most nicest way of
Pleasant.
taking.
Pleasant. Yeah. 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 Agreed. Yeah.
So the entire focus is on tablets, and that is why tablets and capsules and these categories they exist.
Yeah.
So when you are making any tablet or you're making a capsule, you have to also think that it is going on your tongue. So
Yeah.
you are making it all around. So the APIs exist. That is why. That is why
Sure.
you've got masking agents. They exist. So I had the basis of food there, but it
Hmm.
wasn't like it is everything that we do is a direct application of whatever I learned,
Wonderful.
including the science part, including the flavor, whatever. Like how does the tongue perceive? How does the mind perceive?
Yeah.
What is okay, what is not okay, what texture is okay, are we okay with the texture or not? Now if you
True.
see the parallels, when I'm telling you now, it's making sense to you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, and I think even all of us who go through life and who try out unconventional careers. I would
Yeah,
say in a way, obviously the mainstream engineering, medicine,
yeah,
CA, all of that is there. But
yeah,
anybody who sort of goes into some kind of an unconventional career and makes
yeah,
it big, uh, probably when they are doing it, they don't realize that
yeah,
what role their education or their background, as you mentioned, the township culture of bringing chocolates from abroad, that all of those I think somewhere go into our psyche and in our life, and then sort of that shapes it. And maybe when we look back much later, and then you say,
Yeah.
oh, I had this, and then I had this, and then I had this experience. All of them
So
sort of now start making sense.
you're continuously building on your entire life journey.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, Richa,
When
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Sorry, please continue.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm saying, so you had that, experience at Taj, and that's where you sort of, fell in love with, I'm assuming, with food and, food making, and obviously chocolate has been your love since childhood. So
Yeah,
how that, and it's a big step, right? I mean, loving chocolate is one, but to
yeah,
decide that I want to, be an entrepreneur, and
yeah,
second, be a woman entrepreneur, which is obviously, uh, I would say even 10, 15 years ago was not something very common. And
yeah.
then to go into such a unconventional field of making artisanal chocolates, how did that sort of start in your mind?
So I do come from a service background. I mean,
Yeah,
you must have understood that by now. And all my siblings are engineers. They're all working in some company.
yeah,
Growing up, my entire aim was I'll join a good company
yeah,
and then I will grow in my career there. So hence Taj happened because it was kind of fulfilling all my desires.
yeah,
And so it is a bug, right? When you start thinking in a certain way,
yeah.
uh, so you start looking at everything from that perspective that, okay, what if I said chocolate, something must have hit me, right? That is why I said chocolates. I did my MBA, so people were already doing their own stuff around me. Like
Yeah.
somebody was doing photography, entrepreneurship, somebody was
Hmm.
working on tech, so you kind of look at them and you're like, this looks very fulfilling.
Hmm.
But like you have to also grow toward a courage towards it.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of courage to take that first step. So my step was a pretty safe step. That is
Hmm.
joining my friend's company
Okay.
who is building an online platform around flowers and cakes. So I
This
kind of
is
told
the
him
Flaberry one.
everyone.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I asked him that, can I build the chocolate part for you? He's like, कि chocolate तो मिल जाता है market में. What
Hmm.
value will you bring? So I was like, no, we should make chocolates from, Flaberry branded chocolate.
Okay.
So that is when my first instance of understanding of manufacturing happened. So at
Okay.
this point, the entire disagreement was that हम खुद manufacture, we'll not manufacture as such.
Hmm.
We will utilize the skill set which is already in the market,
Hmm.
and there are a lot of manufacturers. So I started visiting them, and then I already had the tenets that this should be the quality, this should be the flavor profile and stuff. And
And you
on
already
that,
had a background in procurement, so you know how
yeah,
to source stuff as well. Okay.
yeah.
Wonderful.
So I started talking to manufacturers, and then I met a lot of women manufacturers who were making chocolates from home.
Hmm.
And that kind of started pushing me, like, these amazing ladies are
Hmm.
managing home. They are doing like decent size B2B in chocolate.
Yeah.
And that was like a tube light bulb moment, that this
Hmm.
is something even I can do.
Yeah.
Because I understand business, I have a background in procurement, and I
Yeah.
understand manufacturing to certain extent.
Sure.
So why can't I do it? So I
Yeah.
started that stint with Flaberry. I developed the chocolate, fixed their supply chain. So it's not about just manufacturing in chocolate. So we
Yeah.
are a tropical country.
Yeah.
Entire supply chain it has to be aligned.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is the chocolate, it has to be the packaging, it has to be the how you send it, because they were online. So we were shipping online. We were
Hmm.
shipping, and this is like, I'm telling you, around 2015.
Yeah.
We have our infrastructure through last these years has grown amazing. There
Yeah.
are so many people now in refrigerated, in frozen category, but at that point we had only a few, support
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
So the entire packaging had to be very robust. So that was a huge part of, ikigai thing that we had to
Hmm.
go through.
Sure.
And so the stint was around 1.5 years, roundabout.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, and
And
then because
yeah.
manufacturing was, and I knew that now it's time I should understand and start my own manufacturing. So yeah, Flaberry was my,
Foray
that,
into foray
yeah,
into
that,
entrepreneurship.
yeah,
But
tip of the iceberg.
yeah, I'm curious. Richa, so a lot of people, they're well educated, working professionals,
yeah,
and a lot of them, have love for, let's say, chocolates or cake, making cakes and stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah,
most people keep it at a hobby level, right?
yeah,
And especially women, right? They also don't think about making it their full time,
yeah,
I would say, profession. They want to keep it
yeah,
as a hobby. So when you wanted to take the plunge and become a full-fledged entrepreneur in chocolate making,
yeah, yeah.
how was sort of the reaction around you from your family and friends? I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, so my dad completely flipped. He was like, "You're gone mad.
Okay,
What's wrong
natural
with
reaction. Yeah, that's the natural most reaction. Yeah, okay.
what's wrong
Hmm.
with you?"
Yeah.
And my sister and my brother were like far more kinder than that. They were like, "कोई बात नहीं, हम संभाल लेंगे," that
Okay.
ways.
Hmm.
And so my biggest support, of course, was my husband. So he was
Hmm.
already running a startup, and we were barely making through. Like literally, we were barely making through.
Yeah.
And he was like, he gets time, do. Why are you thinking
So
we'll
this is a
get the
little
money?
tricky. Yeah, this is a little tricky because, and obviously, I mean, I know you're very modest, not to mention, but yes, obviously, when you both were, in your
Yeah,
early startup days, Amit obviously went on to make with, uh, uh, you know, Lenscart what it is today. I'm sorry for
yeah,
mentioning that. I don't know how comfortable you are mentioning that, but Lenscart is everywhere now. But early days, when you mentioned 2015, 2016, both
yeah,
of you were, experimenting,
yeah,
in your startups, and it's
yeah,
a tough time for any family if both husband and wife are pursuing their own startup ventures. There's a lot of uncertainty. It's not
yeah,
that one person has a stable job and the other
yeah.
person is taking risks. So how did you manage that in that period? Obviously later on both of you went on to do fantastically well, and that's wonderful, but those days when there was a lot of risk and uncertainty, how did you two navigate that?
Our so I think we didn't even think about the negative part of it, honestly.
Hmm. Hmm.
We were just building at that point of time. We were just focusing on building. That's about it. And we're not thinking about negatives. And Amit is a very fabulous human being, you know.
Sure.
He has I mean, it's not that it's the smooth ride, okay?
Yeah.
But there has been a lot of conflicts because he was also traveling the entire India at
Hmm.
that point of time, opening stores. It is very difficult to travel every single day. And he did it for 2 years.
Yeah.
So he was barely there. And
Hmm.
and my support system was my friends around me. So
Yeah.
all my college friends or my school friends. And when you're in so Lenscart is a family, so all the founders wives were also going through what I was going through.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah.
So Piyush's wife, she had started her own startup. It
Oh,
was
wonderful.
it was on content marketing. And Sumitji's wife, she was in SBI. She's an HR in SBI, and she was also traveling a lot.
Hmm.
And Ramneek's wife, Sahiba, she was running her own bakery in Bangalore.
Wow.
So I'm not sure how, but somehow it
But
seems that
everybody's infected with the same disease, it seems. Of
these
the
men
startup culture
is
has become
married
epidemic.
to two equally ambitious women, it
Very
seems.
nice. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
So we
so
had that, circle around us to help us through it. It wasn't
wonderful. And,
just
and I
us.
think I think when you have that circle where everybody's sort of going through the same thing and
Yeah,
also, pursuing a similar kind of objective, I think that
yeah,
also lifts everybody's spirits up, even when chips are down maybe at some time.
yeah.
So
Somebody's seen enough in all of us.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So with Darkins, I know you co-founded it in a way with Prajnay Garg. How did that partnership come about, and then how did you go ahead formalizing
Yeah.
Darkins to what it is today?
So before Dawkins, I was running a bakery because
Mm,
we all have that misconception, or rather, not a clarity of vision, I would say.
yeah,
So whoever I spoke to said that, अच्छा chocolates तो बनाई रही हो, cakes भी बनाओ.
sure.
यहाँ chocolates मिलता है, वहाँ पे
Diversify and hedge the
cakes भी
risk.
तो मिलता है. And bean to bar is a process where you make the chocolates in grinders. So these are
Hmm.
stone grinders, and these are very noisy. And you
Hmm.
make it, so it is a 48 hours, more than 48. Sometimes it will be up to 70 hours process in the small
Yeah.
grinder, the
Yeah.
home one. It is not the most amazing thing for
Yeah.
the people who are
Neighbors.
living with. Yeah.
I could imagine.
So I was kind of requested that please take. We have been patient enough with you for 6 months. Now
Yeah.
please take it somewhere. So once you decide to move out of home
Hmm.
and from your own safe space, you're like, okay, अब rent pay करना है. So then you start
Hmm.
thinking what all ways are the low hanging fruits. So
Hmm.
in my mind, I thought that making cakes is a low hanging fruit.
Sure.
And chocolate से आता है ये वो तो कर ही लेंगे. But what it did not strike to me is that cake is completely different science. It is a
Yeah.
complete different supply chain.
Hmm.
It is a complete different thought process, and a chocolate packaged chocolate is
Yeah.
a completely different manufacturing process, and it is a different sales channel, different messaging, and everything. It just did not strike me. I was like,
Hmm.
कर लेंगे, तो दुनिया कर रही है, मैं भी कर लूंगी.
Hmm.
So that breakup with cakes happened because
Sure.
when I was selling chocolates, it started getting a lot of appreciation and a lot of uh, eyeballs than the cakes were getting.
Okay.
So there was a point where I was making the cakes. I was also delivering them because I started making it from Scenic Farms, from a garage in Scenic Farms.
Hmm.
And so in Scenic Farm, if like folks are from Delhi, they would know that roads are very bad,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the delivery persons don't really come in to pick it up. So you have to go to the gate, and only then they'll take your order, or you
Hmm.
deliver it yourself. So my entire thing was बन भी रहा है, deliver भी कर रहे हैं, customer से बात भी कर रहे हैं, and I'm also talking to Zomato, I'm also talking to Swiggy, I'm also trying to build my website. So all of that. And chocolates was a little bit more seamless. I would
Hmm.
get larger orders. So I would get corporate orders, bulk orders. So and it would be the courier guy would be coming, picking up the boxes, and they'll be leaving.
Yeah.
So, and more than that, appreciation for dark chocolates was there. Appreciation for,
Yeah.
pure chocolates was there. And wherever I would be putting up a stall in the malls, like in Select City Walk or in
Yeah.
Promenade, people will be like, this is exactly what we were looking for.
Hmm.
We were looking for, pure chocolates. We're looking for darker chocolates. The only option that we see is Lind.
Yeah.
So that was also, since I was interacting so much with our consumers on a day-to-day basis, I thought that better I should just focus on one thing, and that was chocolates.
Okay. And
And
and yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, in this journey, there are, of course, there I have been also blessed with our consumers, our early consumers.
Sure.
One of them is Prerna.
Okay.
Prerna is running her own design studio, Prerna Mohan Design Studios, out of Scenic Farms. So she visited my factory. It was like very small, only
Yeah.
500 square feet. And I took her through all the processes. I showed her factory, and she's like, "You've changed my perception towards chocolate."
Hmm.
And that was, very encouraging for me. And then I asked her to help me with, sorting out my mind. How do I do sales? How do I do marketing? And she
Hmm.
was my first mentor.
Wow.
And she is the one who got me introduced ki, Richa, your skill set is making chocolates.
Hmm.
You need to find a person who can build this business with you, a
Okay.
person who understands what building a business is.
Hmm.
So she got me introduced to a couple of people, but we were not vibing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but she also mentioned that her brother is in Pune and is looking to, setting up his brewery and stuff. So I went to Pune and then I spoke to him. And he liked the chocolates, obviously, and that is why he kind of agreed to come along with me to a journey around Andhra, around
Hmm.
Karnataka, to understand where beans come from.
Yeah.
So till that point of time, I kind of had been to one or two trips around these farms. And I took him around that. We made chocolates on the farms.
Okay.
Then he used to come to Delhi and used to also sell chocolates, standing in modern bazaar, standing in different, malls. And that is when his conviction for chocolates came.
Okay.
So it was a very longish process. Like it was like a 8 9 month long decision making that he took. That okay, now I can join Darkins full time, because
And
for
and
him it was a plunge.
and how have you sort of divided the responsibilities at Darkins? Like, what
It was
parts do you manage and what parts does Prajnay manage?
it was seamless right from day one. He manages business, marketing, sales, all that. I manage production. I manage the newer products. So it's pretty much divided. Like we both decided that you have one side of the brain, I have the other side of the brain,
Yeah.
and that is
Sure.
how we go
And
about it.
and I'm curious, Richa, so obviously there are multiple ways that you can go about, distinguishing and creating a brand.
Yeah.
But you chose, and there could have been, things which were more profitable in terms of, approaches you could have taken. But you chose to work with, you know, indigenously grown, naturally grown, local
Yeah.
Indian raw materials
Yeah.
from local Indian farmers, women farmers. Where did that conscious call or intentional call come in? Because when you want to make a business, you want to look for cheaper products, quicker products. So, how did you make that conscious decision that you will only source naturally grown indigenous products, raw materials, and from women farmers?
That has to do more with my love for chocolates,
Yeah. Okay.
honestly. And it was a very, so I've been a conscious consumer of anything.
Hmm.
It's not a, I mean, I see this trend now, but I
Yeah.
have been like this for very long.
Okay.
And 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 I would be looking for conscious products everywhere.
Yeah.
Uh, and because I love chocolates, and I would be looking for chocolates which is not chemically laden. And
Hmm.
I do come from a pharma background. I
So you know
understand.
the ill effects of that chemicals can have in artificial products.
Yes. So I would go under that entire spiral कि अच्छा लाल कलर जा रहा है ये बॉडी में ये असर करेगा अगर
Okay.
if the blue color is going this will do this. So
Hmm.
if I can't allow this into me, how can I even give it to anyone else? Like I can't give it to my own family, how can I give it to anyone else? So
Hmm.
that is the consciousness. It wasn't to do with what's there in the market, what is easier. It was just if I make it has to be conscious. It's as
Hmm.
simple as that. And because I am looking for such products, I have no clue what the market is at that point of time. Of course, the market is of conscious consumers is much larger now.
Now,
But
yes.
yeah, that point of time, it was just I wanted in the market. There is a gap for sure, and
Yeah.
people don't understand chocolates. People don't understand what is pure chocolate.
Hmm.
So my entire thing, whenever I was to even stand in the malls, it would be like, see, please understand about compound chocolate and please understand about kavachas. And I
Hmm.
would be in that professor mode
Yeah.
continuously.
Yeah, you've done teaching as well, so I can imagine.
So
Yeah.
I would be in the professor mode. And anybody who knows me, they know that अब तो ये भाषण देना शुरू करेगी.
Wonderful. So, Richa, very curious, and obviously we can, and we'll talk about, working with these indigenous women farmers a little
Yeah,
later in the section.
yeah.
Uh, I'm so early
Women
days.
farmers
Yeah,
also just happened. It wasn't like we were looking for women farmers.
but that's what they're doing in majority in Andhra
So
and
it
Karnataka.
is a majority, and I mean, it is very interesting phenomena though,
Sure.
that a lot of women are the ones who are managing the post processing part. So they are taking care of the fermentation, they're taking care of the drying, they're
Mhm.
deciding if the flavors are good enough. If you go to a women farmer, you will find much better, tasting cocoa beans is what I kind of deduced very early on. So I
Yeah,
kind of like
I
women
think
farmers are amazing. I'll focus there.
not to disown men, but I think our taste of smell and taste of smell and color are a little, I would say less evolved
Yeah, it is
than
a
women,
little
for sure. For sure. So
but
I
now we are working with men farmers as well. And
okay.
so these are they are engineers who have left their jobs from the cities and they've taken up their father's business, father's
Okay.
farming, because now they see the owners of doing it. So
Hmm.
we have got a much, a very eclectic lot of farmers whom we interact with every day.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And Richa, I know again, I know you're very modest, but I would love to understand, you know, when the recognition and the successes started coming in, because you know a lot of people want to make a distinguished brand and name in a crowded category like chocolate,
Yeah,
but for Darkins to be recognized as one of the top 10 most desirable or must try chocolate brands from India, or to get featured in something like an LA magazine.
yeah,
How did those come about, and what has the reception been on a global stage? It's not just limited to India for Darkins now.
yeah. We actually, when you mentioned, that is when I came to know, acha, we have been featured.
Okay, okay. You should
I
read more
did
about yourself.
not
You,
know that we have been featured.
you should read
So,
more about yourself.
yeah. I mean that that clearly would tell you how much we do PR on marketing. I
Yeah,
mean, we have just started marketing very effectively.
yeah,
Uh, Till date, Darkins has been built only on our consumers who have discovered us, and then they have been like buying from different retail stores.
yeah,
We have not spent on marketing till
mm,
like 2 months back.
yeah,
And the recognitions have started coming. I think everybody is a consumer. They appreciate us, and I am like, amazing. People should
mm,
have great quality chocolates. That is how
yeah,
I look at it.
yeah. Um, I am also curious because chocolate is a very tricky affair, because
Yeah,
I haven't met anybody who said they don't love chocolates.
yeah,
I mean, your love for chocolates is on a different plane,
yeah,
a different orbit altogether. But there are two concerns that most parents or even young
yeah. I
folks
know,
have.
I know.
One, when we were kids, it was about rotting our teeth,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
when we grew up, it was more about we are putting on weight. So
yeah.
since you've managed, sourcing, procurement, manufacturing, and delivering, uh, are these fears founded, unfounded? What is your take on that?
So we have to understand how the teeth talk happens first.
Mm,
It is
mm,
happening because of the sugars in the chocolates, and it is not the
mm.
cacao itself.
Correct.
So cacao as an ingredient for last at least 8,000 years
Yeah.
has been consumed as a medicine.
Hmm.
It has got medicinal properties in it. It is very high in antioxidants,
Okay.
and it is very rich that way.
Yeah.
The problem has happened when we were younger, or rather, because India has not been, it has always been a price sensitive country. So
Hmm.
we got very, lesser quality, I would say, of
Yeah.
chocolates. And it was laden with like sugars, it was laden with palm oil, and
Hmm.
somewhere around very little amount of cacao in it. So
Hmm.
it was not pure chocolate.
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
so that is why it was affecting the teeth, and that is why it was affecting the entire body.
Hmm.
And that is why you also gaining weight, because if you're consuming more amount of sugar, and you're consuming more amount of unnecessary, vegetable fat, it
Yeah.
will of course affect your overall physique or your health.
Yeah.
Uh, and that is also myth that we want to break. Uh, if if you are a high performance athlete, and
Mm-hmm.
if you're high performance, I mean, is that if you're into cardio,
Yeah.
and if you are doing a lot of marathon running, or something which has got requires an intense uptake of oxygen in your body,
Yeah.
you should consume a higher percentage dark chocolate, because
Hmm.
it helps in there are studies on it, and it does help in increasing the chocolate accumulation in the sorry, not chocolate, oxygen accumulation in
Sure.
the body.
Yeah.
It holds the oxygen for much longer. So if you are in a strenuous job, or say if you are undergoing oxygen therapy,
Yeah.
then you should consume 90% above. I know it's difficult, so just aim for 80% and above, or just eat cacao nibs. That is 100% chocolate, and it
Hmm.
tastes like your almond. It tastes very slightly bitter, and you can
Hmm.
still consume it. And it is 100% chocolate. It
Okay.
can't get better than you consuming a cacao nibs.
Okay. Wonderful.
And
Um.
of course, we all are aware of how chocolates. Everybody says ki, "Acha, you're not feeling good. Have a chocolate."
Yeah.
But then you should consume 70% and above dark.
Yeah. Okay.
If you
Okay.
are consuming more sugar, it is for your palate, for your.
Correct. Yeah. And I mean, and speaking of, chocolates, I know you had a very busy last month, the
Yeah,
whole Valentine's Day
yeah.
week, month that has become. How was the response, and what are the things that you did? Because there's a whole sequence of events that lead up to Valentine's Day and beyond. But what was Darkins doing in the Valentine's Day month?
So this year onwards, we are focusing on more education,
Okay,
and
interesting. Like
we
like
are.
you are doing to me, like you explained why chocolate is actually good for you if you get the right one.
Yeah, and so our now task is education,
Hmm.
because we really want people to understand about chocolate,
Sure.
and also enjoy chocolate in the process. It shouldn't be कि भाई ये चाहिए तो बस you are like having any, okay, this is a dark chocolate and just have it for the
Yeah.
sake of having it.
Yeah.
But enjoying it, and how do you go about enjoying it? How do you go about discovering what chocolate is suiting you, even in dark, even in milk, even in vegan milk? When are you're in that bad state of mind, and you're
Yeah.
like, this chocolate is way too serious for you, dark chocolate is way too serious for you, for an example, then what chocolate then you choose, which is still conscious, and but it is at par of the other things that you like. So we have been
Yeah.
hosting chocolate experiences where we are showing you the entire process of how chocolate is being made. We take you through tasting of fermented dried beans, which is raw beans in our case,
Yeah.
and then we take you through the process of roasting it. How does the roasted beans taste like? Then we also take you through how cracking and winnowing is done.
Yeah.
You see the machine, and then you taste the nibs. You see the shell. Even the shell is being currently used for other stuff.
Wow.
Then the nibs are taken. The nibs then are, how it is converted into a paste. What is percentage? Like when I'm saying 70%, what does it mean? For
Yeah.
us, it is pretty simple. 70% is cacao butter, and the rest is unrefined cane sugar, because
Hmm.
we don't put any emulsifiers or any additional thing into it. So we say that if you're looking at label, then look at the label. Please look at the label. What are you
Yeah.
consuming?
I think consumers today, and thanks to social media and positive influencers, I would say, people have actually started reading the back of the packaging now.
Yeah,
We never used to read the back of the packaging ever. Whatever
yeah.
we can. Now people have
So if
started.
it is written darks, 70% dark, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have much solid into it.
Hmm.
Please look into the label to see what is there.
Yeah, and when you mentioned education, educating your consumers, I just had a flashback. My teacher used to tell me, when I used to study with him, and I studied physics with him,
Yeah,
and he used to give an example of
yeah,
Bertrand Russell. Right, Bertrand Russell wrote a book called "In Praise of Idleness," and
yeah,
there he was talking about a lot of things that we know, but what uses of this knowledge, right, that we have.
yeah, yeah,
And there is this example that is often quoted. He mentions that the word apricot, the fruit,
yeah.
right? Uh, it comes from precocious. The Latin
Oh,
origin comes from precocious because
okay,
the fruit ripens very early.
okay.
And somewhere in language, the A was added before apricot. Like from apricot, it became apricot. So
Hmm.
Bertrand Russell says, ki, this is what do I do with this knowledge? But anytime I have apricot next, I know that I know the origin of what apricot is, and it makes
Yeah,
the apricot taste sweeter.
yeah,
So now, anytime anybody has Darkins chocolate and they go through entire education that you're talking about, I'm sure the
Yeah.
chocolate tastes sweeter even though it's dark chocolate.
Yeah. So we take through the also you make your own bar as well.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
you carry your own bar back when you go home. And
Wow.
in this experience, we also tell whoever is visiting us, how do you
Hmm.
go about tasting chocolate? It
Okay.
is about the entire the smell. How do you look at food? How do you smell it? How do you taste it? It has to stay on your palate. If it is
Hmm.
staying long enough, are you okay with the flavor or not? And what is the final mouth feel? So
Hmm.
we take you through the entire tasting, and we also make you more aware of what all taste buds you have. So
Hmm.
that is all part. So we have got five tasting mechanisms in us. So we take you through that entire thing so that you kind of are more self aware of yourself. So whenever
Hmm.
you're having any food, you're having any beverage,
Hmm.
I hope it helps you, being more connected to it.
Sure. And I think that enhances the experience of consuming. Otherwise, you're just eating to live.
Yeah, you're
Uh,
like looking at your phone and then you're eating.
yeah.
I mean, most of
I'm
us don't even talk to each other when you're eating.
yeah. I'm curious. I know one of the flavors of Darkins, the Banarasi Pan, has become a big
Yes,
hit.
it is.
How
Yeah,
how
it
did
is.
how did that come about? Like to the concept of, I know you tried fusion, you wanted to do experiments with chocolate, but the Banarasi Pan chocolate, how did that evolution come about?
Um, so I am from East India,
Sure,
and
sure.
we love fun.
Yeah. Okay.
My origins are from Calcutta, but I've
Yeah.
grown up in Ranchi. So there, people just love their pan. They're like passionate about their pan. So
Yeah.
my Mesho, he used to have a pan ka box which he used to sit with and
Yeah.
make his pan, roll his pan, and have it.
Mm.
And that was my first like. So this pan chocolate is a homage to him.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Richa,
So
I know. Yeah,
in
sorry,
this
go ahead.
chocolate,
Hmm.
it is completely from memory. So
Hmm.
what I think of pan as, so we love the cherry in it. We would love the fennel in it. We like the
Yeah.
pan leaves in it. We like the bitterness of the betel nut.
Yeah.
So the bitterness is being derived from the chocolate itself, and
Hmm.
rest whatever is in pan, we put it in the pan bar. So it is a multiple faceted bar. It is the most complex bar that we make in our kitchen right now.
Wonderful. And talking about making it in the kitchen, what I understand is, you have a great team of, you have a great team, and then you have a
Yeah,
great team of women in that, a
yeah,
majority of women.
yeah,
Um, you sort of spoke about, being, a woman entrepreneur, initially not being taken seriously, but then obviously, people coming in support also. There's a positive to it as well, when you started up. Um,
yeah,
how have you seen, and because now you are in the thick of things of, with women entrepreneurs, you are getting invited to multiple places and panels, especially International Women's Day, and all of these other events. uh, how are you seeing, women approach entrepreneurship differently in India today? Globally, we can leave that, aside, because they're maybe 10, 15, 20 years ahead in these things. But socially, culturally, how have you seen, your fellow women entrepreneurs come on board and become successful?
but when you say global now, I have a different opinion to it because I
Sure.
do meet women entrepreneurs from different countries as well.
Okay. Okay.
And we as women, we are very self-sabotaging,
Hmm.
honestly.
Hmm.
We think and we think and we overthink and we think
Okay.
on the solutions and we overthink on the solutions.
Hmm. Okay.
And, and if that was not enough,
Yeah.
we of course have our family responsibilities,
Sure.
which even if family members are telling you, we'll take care of it. Even
Hmm.
our part, even then we're like, no, no, it's our job. We have to only do it ourselves.
Hmm.
अपने हाथ से ही करना है.
Hmm.
So, so women, we process too much, I think, and that is
Hmm.
the biggest problem. We don't know how to delegate, especially women who have grown up with very strong fathers. whose fathers have told that beta kuch bada karna hai tere ko life mein.
Hmm.
So we think that we need everything perfect. We need everything in place, and
I think
that
is it also because I mean somewhere there is and growing up in 80s 90s I'm saying this that there has always been this that parents want a male child, but then when a daughter is born the daughter takes on more pressure saying that oh I'm a female child, parents
uh,
might have wanted a male child, so I need to do more and extra to
no, no, no,
prove.
no, no.
Okay.
In my case, at least, it wasn't true at all. My
Okay.
father is the biggest feminist I know. My
Okay.
brother is the
Wonderful.
biggest feminist I know. And I have my father is an engineer, and he used to. My mother is a homemaker.
Hmm.
Okay, but he would still come every day home. He would still make dinner for us, like he would cook dinner for us, and
Hmm.
he would sit with us, study with us. There was no discrimination whatsoever between
Wonderful.
any of the kids. Like growing up, I did not know there was gender biases. Honestly, I
Sure.
did not see those biases. I was entire focus on was having rounded individuals. That was about it. Uh,
Wonderful.
and I did see biases, of course, in my
Sure.
friends and their families,
Mhm.
but not in our family at least.
Okay.
And I am my brother is also like that. He'll be like, "तेरे को क्या चाहिए बता," you
Hmm.
know. And I also have a feminist at my home. That's my husband. He's also, uh, I mean, I think you kind of attract people
Sure.
around you also. I'm growing up with a lot of men who are feminists.
Mhm.
And that also gives me a lot of courage. Because
Sure.
if they would have told me कि ये नहीं कर सकते हो, वो नहीं कर सकते हो, यहाँ नहीं जा सकते हो, इससे नहीं बात कर सकते हो, then I wouldn't have been where I am.
Sure.
And you do need that support structure. And I'm very blessed that my in-laws are also like that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, Richa, and I know we were talking about, the,
And
the,
women entrepreneurs
yeah,
do, most of them do not have the structure.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that is an unfortunate truth. They do not. They are struggling for the smallest and smallest of things. And like if they want to have a room in their own home, they cannot have it.
Yeah.
So you do have the situations. So for women, for me, in my case, the women who I interact with, they kind of would help me navigate through whatever problems I would have. And I
Hmm.
try to, make sense ki please don't overthink. That is my only job that I tell everyone
Hmm.
around me, don't overthink. Just take one step. Take one step.
Yeah.
Maximum is that it will be a no.
Yeah.
But if you want it bad enough, now you'll get it. But
Yeah.
don't stop.
Yeah, wonderful. Um, Richa, and I know we have a little more time, so I just want to get
Yeah,
in a few more questions. So I know
yeah,
you said, because you've done it almost without any, backing or background in entrepreneurship to build
yeah,
this wonderful chocolate brand from India.
yeah,
I know you gave one advice to women entrepreneurs is don't overthink.
yeah,
But for women who are, getting started in this journey of wanting to do something on their own, and it's not just for women in particular, but in general, like this generation post COVID, a lot of
hmm,
people have taken that courage
yeah,
to try something outside the conventional 9 to 5
yeah,
corporate job.
yeah,
What would your advice be for these, first time newbie entrepreneurs or founders who want to start doing something very unconventional, which has
yeah,
been their passion, but they've never really considered taking it and making it a business?
yeah. The thing is, like, you have to break down your thought process first. What do you want to bring? Whom do
Hmm.
you want to bring it for? This is,
Hmm.
very basic tenets of what we learn in our MBA,
Yeah.
and we seldom apply it.
Yeah.
But anybody who is starting their journey, you should apply it. It really helps. I have wasted
Mhm.
almost 2 years of my life because I did not apply it. I was going through only, what the gut was saying.
Yeah.
You should look at the product very, in a way ki, if your conviction is saying that you should do it, you should 100% do it.
Hmm.
but you have to also look at that whom are you targeting for,
Yeah.
and that if that gets overwhelming, if that thought itself gets overwhelming, then cut that down
Hmm.
into where you want to be in next 6 months. Forget
Yeah.
10 years. Where do you want to? You just have to survive 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Survive 6 months, then think of the next six.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're there, once you're through your first year of your journey, you've
Yeah.
already learned a lot. Then
Yeah.
you think of surviving next 1 year.
Hmm.
So then the entire idea is less daunting.
Yeah.
And then you're at least able to take that first step. And taking that first step is the most difficult step that anybody takes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the second thing that I would very vehemently ask everyone is please ask for help. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter who. It really
Yeah.
doesn't matter who. Just ask help. Just talk, discuss. That's all. You will get ideas just by talking. Because when you are talking, you are kind of also, you're further dividing your thought process.
Yeah.
And you are also deciding on what steps you should to take next.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, just discuss, ask for help. Help is all around you. There's no issue in that. Just ask for it.
Yeah, and I think your example, which you mentioned, you've been very lucky, but
Yeah.
not all women have that
Yeah.
kind of fortunate environment. Growing up, your parents, uh,
Yeah.
getting your friends,
Hmm.
uh, then your in-laws, your husband, all of that has been a tremendous support system
Yeah.
for you to take off and become
Yeah.
the successful entrepreneur that you are. Um, what we would love to hear one before we get into the last part of our conversation today is
Yeah.
for women entrepreneurs, how important is one, the support system, that is friends and family, and the
Yeah.
other is other women entrepreneurs, because I know you've been part of multiple of these initiatives like Together
Yeah.
23 and so on. uh,
Yeah.
how
Aspire for our Leap Dot Club,
yeah,
New Age Mompreneurs, and AmFam.
yeah,
So I am definitely a part of these, and for women who are struggling with finding help, these are fabulous platforms.
yeah,
They really help you.
yeah. So and any woman entrepreneur or who wants to be an entrepreneur who's listening to Richa today, please feel free to check out these platforms. These are great forums
Yeah.
for women entrepreneurs, for women founders, and they come together
Yeah.
and create a great support structure for anybody who's starting out.
Yeah.
Um, Richa,
Especially
yeah,
mompreneurs, I
yeah,
think WEP is there, which is one ET Ayog. Then there is New Age mompreneurs, I've already mentioned. But
yeah,
so there is two segments of women entrepreneurs. One is women who have just started out, like right after, like they are probably married, not married, divorced, or in any of the situations where
hmm,
they don't have kids. So in that scenario, the entrepreneurship is different.
hmm,
When you have children,
sure,
the whatever problems you have in your life, it gets compounded.
yeah,
So please be part of such women entrepreneur groups. It really helps. And have a community. If you don't have any help now, these community women, they really stand up for each other.
yeah, yeah. And I would like to also give a shout out to Rimjim, uh,
Yeah,
who was our first guest on this podcast, and she was very kind to introduce me to you and said you should talk to Richa. She's doing fantastic with Darkin. So that's how we got connected. So yeah, more
she's also
connections, more
my mentor.
collaboration.
She's
Sorry.
also my mentor. She's also my mentor.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, so small world, but I'm very
Yeah,
glad to get to know all of you wonderful people.
yeah,
Richa, before we wrap up today, we just want to know what is next for Darkins.
yeah.
What are your plans? That's one. And second is, I'm sure a lot of people who've been hearing about Darkins today want to try Darkins if they haven't tried already. So
Yeah.
please tell us how they can get Darkins. What are the platforms it's available on?
We are, of course, we have our website. It's darkins.in,
Hmm.
darkins.in, darkins.in. And that is where you find all of our products.
Yeah.
We are there on Amazon.
Hmm.
We are there on Flipkart, and we
Okay.
are also for people who want the chocolates now. It
Yeah.
is there in Blinkit, and we people can also find us on Big Basket, on
Okay.
all the major cities, all the major metro cities. But if it is if people are looking for in much smaller towns and cities, then Amazon or our website is where you can find Darkins. If you're based out of Delhi, we are there in almost 30 to 40 stores in Delhi. And pan India, we're there in almost 70 stores.
Okay.
So in modern trade stores, in like in Bangalore, we are there in Organic World stores, and we're also there in Adrish. So we are there.
Wonderful.
We are around.
Yeah, yeah, and I think a lot of people would want to try out Darkins. I would love to, um,
Yeah.
and we'll definitely take you up on that offer. What is
Yeah.
next for Darkins, Richa? Where, and I know you don't want to set 5 year, 10 year goals. You want to
Yeah,
break it
right.
down to smaller time spans. But what's next for Darkins in the immediate short run?
So our we have got two goals this
Hmm.
year. We have already started on them. One is, of course, the education part that I already mentioned. That is
Yeah,
Darkins experience. Uh, so people have a better understanding of chocolate and a better understanding of themselves, and
sure.
bringing communities together. So bringing the foodies together, bringing the moms together, bringing the kids together. We want people to have enjoy chocolate around with their loved ones, and that is
Wonderful.
one part of it. And second is we finally have enough bandwidth that we
Mhm.
can start exporting Darkins. So
Hmm.
what has been our dream from day one, that
Yeah,
Indian chocolates should go global.
yeah.
That is what we are working towards. And
Wonderful.
so these are the two things that we are focusing on this year.
Wonderful, Richa. Many, many best wishes for that, and we want to see Darkins grow in India as well as on the global stage. May you
Yeah.
continue to spread sweetness and happiness through Darkins chocolate. It's
We
been a
spread
lovely,
chocolatiness.
yeah,
We spread chocolatiness.
yeah. uh, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you, Richa, today on this Sunday. Thank you for taking the time,
Yeah.
and wish you all the best with Darkins.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Richa. Take care. Bye.